Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to Crack Grade B. So, just wait for a second. Yes. So, in today's lecture, we will be talking about insurance related registration, right? They also form a very vital part of your IFSCA syllabus. So, we are going to start the regulations from scratch, fine. In this particular regulation, first of all, the first keyword is an insurer, what kind of business they do. Then the next term that we should understand is the business of reinsurer, that means what kind of work they do. And after once we have studied both of them, then we will start talking about the insurance related regulations as well. Fine. Now let's see. So what kind of person, what kind of business does a insurer do? We all know about it. We take different kinds of insurance based on life, based on our vehicles, right? Accident related insurances are there, and there are so many insurances. Just now we have completed bullion, right? So even in the case of bullion, if there is a vault manager, that vault manager also obtains a insurance for the safety and security of the bullion. Even bullion depository, they also go for the insurance because they have to indemnify if any kind of losses occurs, right? So we have seen all of these things with us. Now we are going to focus on one important thing, and that is the insurance business. Okay, so few things I would like to tell you about the insurance business. Starting from the scratch, because I am expecting the things from starting, right? So in the case of insurance, we always see that there is a company which does covers my risk, right? This company, I call it as insurer. This company says that if you see any kind of risk, if you have any kind of risk, we are covering that, fine. And my risk is covered, so I will be called as insured. I have to pay this particular company premium in order to cover my risk. Can you guys think that what is the role of insurance agents over here? We might have heard, and many people in our known, they might be playing the role of insurance agent. Fine. So these insurance agent, what they act as a link between insurance company as well as the customers. They explain the policies, what kind of premium is there, what kind of safety features are there, what kind of risk is covered, everything. So I can tell that these insurance agents, they play a role of information dissemination, right? Any kind of information related to this particular business is disseminated in the insurance related business. Now insurance is very common, we have seen this, everything else we have already seen this. Now we have to understand about reinsurance. Are you guys aware about reinsurance? If yes, then please tell me, what do you understand by reinsurance? What do you understand by reinsurance, if you have any kind of idea? Anyone? See, I'll tell you, and this is a very important thing. You are going to see the term reinsurance again and again in this particular regulations. Hence, it is very important for me. Suppose there is a company, we can take any organization. Let's take GIC, General Insurance Corporation. Fine. General Insurance Corporation, ट्रांसफर करना. Okay, somewhat right. We will see this in a little bit clarity. I understand that yes, typing related difficulties are there. So I'll explain this in a more proper term. Fine. See over here. General Insurance Corporation is there. Now, the work of General Insurance Corporation is obviously to do insurance. Wait. Now there is a thing over here. We all know that every organization has a capital. Consider it as net worth, right? For the ease of terms, I am using the word capital. Apart from that, the correct usage of word should have been net worth. So, every organization has a capital. Suppose, now let's say GIC is having a capital of 100 rupees. Now, what is the amount of risk that you can take? Now, giving insurance and covering the risk of other people, it is very risky thing. Fine. So, there is a limit which is imposed by the regulatory authorities. Regulatory authorities say that if you are having a capital of, let's say, 100 rupees, correct? Then there is a risk threshold. Risk threshold means risk limit. We are saying that if you are having a capital of 100 rupees, then you can take just 10 times of risk. 10 times of risk means you can just take the insurance related risk up to 1000 rupees only. Authority says we know, हम जानते हैं कि सभी लोग नहीं आ जाएंगे अपना क्लेम लेके, सबको नुकसान नहीं हो जाएगा, लेकिन कुछ लोगों को तो होगा. Some people are going to suffer losses. You need to pay those losses. That is why in insurance business there is a threshold which is decided, that whatever capital you have, a ratio is decided. Only up to that amount you can take the risk, not beyond that. Fine. So in this particular case, here comes the concept of reinsurance. Under reinsurance, what this corporation is going to do, please listen to me very, very carefully. Suppose its limit goes for a toss. That means this organization has breached its limit. Fine. This has taken a insurance business. For example, suppose a company comes, let's say Tesla comes. Tesla comes that we want a insurance from you. Now, GIC were having certain limit. GIC was having 40 rupees limit left. So GIC said that okay, we are going to do this, but the rest of the insurance, what we are going to do, we are going to transfer to someone else. So they gave this insurance business to other company, let's say ABC Limited. So reinsurance is that sharing your risk with another entity. So whenever we talk about any organization, पहले ये तो पूरा कर ले सर, इसको पूरा कर ले, फिर वो भी ले लेंगे, टेंशन मत लो आप, IFSCA से रिलेटेड सब कुछ कवर कर लेंगे और आपके सजेशंस बिल्कुल हम ध्यान में रखेंगे. Although we are working on to it, but the first priority is that we should cover these regulations. Okay? Now see, so in reinsurance, ABC Limited is sharing risk. Now some people might got have confused into this. Now I will simplify this for them. Very easy thing is this. Simple easy thing is, suppose there is a customer which comes to you with intent to insure. Intention to insure. Customer wants to insure something, maybe the life or property or anything. Now in your case, you are a company. I'll name your company as A Limited. You are doing insurance business, but you are almost near your limit. Fine. This might so happen that you are already near your limit and you cannot take much insurance business. So in this particular case, yes, in this particular case, what you are going to do, you will take this customer. This customer has come up to you. You will say, okay, no problem, dear customer, we are going to provide you full insurance. But what you are going to do aftermath, that means behind the curtains, behind the screen, you will appoint one more organization called as B Limited, and some amount or some risk will be insured by this particular organization. That means the other insurer. What is happening over here? Risk of this customer is being shared by this entity as well as this entity. Does this entity knows about this customer? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. Like in the case of when A Limited is near the limit, A Limited might choose not to tell about the customer, right? Only details are given and there is no direct contact between the reinsurer and the customer. And sometimes it also might have happened that two of the businesses they are doing together. Now in this particular case, whenever customer is going to pay the premium to A Limited will only keep the share for which it has provided the insurance, and remaining amount of premium it is going to give to B Limited. Is it clear? This is called as reinsurance. Do we have different entities for doing reinsurance business? No. So any organization or any company which does insurance business, it also does reinsurance business. जो insurance करते हैं वो ही लोग reinsurance भी करते हैं. What I am saying is that there is no direct formal communication between the customer and B Limited. This might be the case, fine. Although informations about the customer, the details, yes, they have to be provided to B Limited as well. But what I am talking is that there might be no formal link. Yes, customer information, obviously that has to be provided, but what I was telling you about the direct communication, but anyways, that is not important for us. What was important for us is that you have to understand, doing any kind of insurance business, every organization has a threshold. Fine, whatever amount of capital they are having, a ratio is decided and only up to that particular ratio they can take risk. Beyond that, taking risk is not allowed. Fine. Even if a customer comes, you can share your risk with other organization, and this is called as the reinsurance. In case of reinsurance, whatever premium you are receiving from the customer, you have to share with the reinsurer. Suppose he is seeking to cover the risk of 100 rupees. He has insured risk of 20 rupees and he has insured risk of 80 rupees. So premium related to 20 rupees of risk will go to A Limited and premium related to 80 rupees of risk will go to B Limited. That is it. Now we are going to start with the registration related regulations one by one. So number one is, if you want to start the business in the IFSC, number one and foremost thing is you have to take the registration from authority. You cannot do without it. Next, an applicant which is including the Lloyds, they seeking registration, they shall make application in the form as specified in the first schedule. Now I keep telling this students in my classes repeatedly that suppose whenever any regulation or whenever any circular is given, at the end of those circulars or regulations, there are some pages attached. What those pages contain? So they contain the format. Like in this case, they are saying that after we are reading the insurance registration related regulations. So this is having a first schedule. First schedule means there is a page attached, and in that page a format is given. That means what should be your application related format. This is given in the first schedule. Do you remember? Do you have to remember this? No, not required. Fine. Because in every regulation what you are going to see, they will be talking about first schedule, second schedule, etc., etc. Please don't go after them. Now this, what is this Lloyd's? So Lloyd's is a, I have included the definition over here. It is a society of underwriters which is known in the UK. So we are establishing IFSC as an international brand, right? We want that the customers, agents, companies, they should come from all over the world. So there is a society of underwriters in the London, and they are known as the Lloyd. So even if they want to come in our IFSC, they are totally welcome. Can you tell me that what is the work of underwriters? They say that they are society of underwriters. That means they are a group of underwriters. Can you guys tell me that what is the role of underwriters? What is the work that is performed by underwriters? Anyone? Tell me and wait for a second. Yes. I do not know why you guys are not answering. Okay, predict the risk involved in providing insurance to a person or entity. Is that it? See over here what is happening in case of underwriting. Do you know that underwriting exists in the stock market as well? Obviously, if you do not know about it, then you are living under a rock. Underwriters means they are, obviously they predict the risk, but at the same time, if you know, the role of underwriters have been covering the risk. This is their work. They cover the risk in exchange of commission. What kind of risk they cover, how do they cover, I am going to answer all of it when we will be covering these particular regulations. Why I am not discussing this right now? Because if I'll start discussing this, then this will become lengthy and we will shift from our topic. So as of now, just understand that how the role was underwriter was there in the stock market, in the issue of shares. What does underwriters played over there? Underwriters say that, dear company, please do not worry. If you are not going to achieve minimum subscription in case of issue of shares, then we are there. We are going to invest the money into this. We are going to purchase your shares, and in return of that, please pay us the commission. So what role underwriters play in issue of shares? They cover the risk in with exchange of commission. We are going to say the role of we are going to see the role of underwriters also over here, but just stay with me. Now there are easy things over here. Number one, they have already told you the provisions related to Lloyd IFSCs as well as the registration of service company, they are specified in the second schedule. Anything which has to be, yes, correct, you are correct. But that is not it that they do. They have certain other functions also. We will be discussing this with all the practicalities. Fine. You are right, Praveen. See, every kind of person, any member, any trading member, anyone who's operating in the stock market or in any kind of market, at the end of the day, they have to perform such kind of works, right? So the provisions which are related to managing general agent. Now, what is this managing general agent? So, do you know the concept of wholesaler, right? In any kind of business, there is a manufacturing entity, the entity which is the original owner. After that entity, there is a wholesaler, fine, and then we have retailer, and finally we have customers. I hope you are aware about this chain. We see this in our daily life. So these managing general agents, you can consider them as wholesalers. Fine, managing general agent. In the business of insurance, you can say that the insurance company is this, and then customers are obviously who want to cover their risks, and then there are other agents as well who work as a retailers. Now, can you just imagine the whole picture in your mind with this particular chain? Insurance company, managing general agent, and agents as well as the customer. Fine. These managing general agents, they perform different kinds of work like underwriting. Underwriting also they can do. Fine. They also take sometimes, if suppose insurance company is not convinced that whether it should take such amount of risk or not, then MGA they work on it as well. Fine. So this is the concept of managing general agent. As of now, very simply, just understand this. It leads business of insurance company closer to the customer. It leads to the distribution of products and services which are offered by the insurance company. Just like the service wholesalers do for a manufacturing entity. See over here. So the provisions related to managing general agent and foreign insurer or foreign reinsurers, they are specified in the third schedule. Now, what is a managing general agent? Managing general agent is a body corporate which is incorporated either outside India or in India. This is universal. In the IFSCA, we are not, what you can say, differentiating between the Indian entities or foreign entities. There is completely no differentiation. So that is authorized to undertake insurance or reinsurance due to a binding agreement with a foreign insurer or foreign reinsurer. Fine, there is a entity which is registered in a foreign land, let's say USA or Switzerland or anywhere, right? This entity wants a market presence in any other country. So it have an option of operating through its agent, managing general agent, right? Next is eligibility conditions. So the doubt is that websites like Insurance Dekho, Policy Bazaar, etc., etc. Now you can answer this question by yourself only. Fine. Do these, I can categorize them in a form of agents, but these, what they are actually doing is they are comparing, right? They are comparing the policies, etc. This is that kind of work. Now a work of agent or a MGA is they have an agreement with the company. Do these platforms have an agreement? Ask for yourself. You will get the idea. Whatever I am teaching over here, just see the thing what I am saying. In case of MGA, they have an agreement. Under that agreement, they say that yes, you are in a foreign land. Correct? You cannot come to our country and I am registered. Suppose I'll take the example. There is a company, insurance company, which is there in USA. Now, because of certain regulatory requirements as well as infrastructural requirements, it is unable to continue its business in India, or it wants to have a business in India. Now, it has a great option. It can do an agreement with an Indian entity, and if it Indian entity operates as an agent, so what kind of services this agent is going to provide? This is going to sell the policies as well as the products of the company in the Indian market, but it is going to be dedicated towards that company only. Fine. Coming back to the topic, an Indian insurer or reinsurer who wants to set up the businesses in an unincorporated form in an IFSC, they shall meet with the following requirements. Now, I'll also tell you one thing. Whenever you want to see that whether a platform is an agent or not, you should always inquire whether that platform, see, there are other services also which are provided by such platforms. They want to increase the traffic onto their platform so that the customers can come and they can take the other services as well. One of the services is also helping the customers with the intelligence, right? In that particular case, always inquire whether this particular platform they are receiving any kind of commission from the insurance company or not, because whenever we try to create a relationship between an insurance company and its agent, always look out for the link of commission. Is there any commission? If yes, then yes, they are agent. If not, then they are not. Next is an Indian insurer or reinsurer who wants to set up business in an unincorporated form in an IFSC. They shall meet with the following requirements. What are the following requirements? First of all, they should have been registered with the IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. We all know about it. This is a premier organization. Like we have SEBI as well as RBI. RBI does for money market. SEBI does for capital market, IRDAI is for the insurance market. Now, because you have read with me, tell me, this is the question for you, and please answer this question. Is there any member nominated by IRDA on the governing board of IFSCA or not? I am asking, is there any member of IRDAI nominated by it on the board of governing board of IFSCA? Good. ESIC के भी कोई member हैं क्या? Is there any member nominated by ESIC on the board of IFSCA? है क्या? Sure about it? PFRDA? PFRDA? चलो कोई बात नहीं. Search about it. PFRDA के हैं. Yes. Great. Now let's come back to the topic because IRDA was mentioned, so I answered this particular question. Applicant should be duly registered with the IRDA. Number one thing, there should be no objection certificate from the IRDA to set up a place of business in IFSC. Very important. Board shall also give the reporting structure. Reporting structure means if suppose a company which wants to have a place of its own in the IFSC, it has to tell that yes, we have such kind of reporting structure. Reporting structure means in our organization, number one, our board of directors, then we have managing director as well, then we have CEO, we have CFO, etc., etc. So you have to clearly tell your reporting structure. Reporting structure means what are the important officials, directors in your organization. So board of applicant, they shall submit the reporting structure Information about principal officer, officer in charge, underwriting, CEO, like that. Next is applicant should also have a good track record. The board of applicant, they should undertake to meet all the liabilities which might arise from the insurance or reinsurance business. A foreign insurance or foreign reinsurer or a MGA or Lloyds who want to set up a branch in IFSC, see, they have similar kinds of requirement. Fine, they have similar kinds of requirement, but in case of your entity which is there in India, they have to take the approval from IRDA, they have to take NOC from IRDA. But if you are a foreign entity, right, you are coming from another country, obviously you do not have to take the permission from IRDA, but you have to take the permission from your own country's regulatory authority. Whatever is the regulatory authority related to insurance business in your country, please take the approval from there and then come over here to establish a place. So that is what is being said over here. Applicant should be registered, licensed for transacting insurance business. Applicant has been granted NOC by the regulatory or supervisory authority of its home country. The applicant should comply with net owned fund requirements. Correct? This is given in the Insurance Act 1938. It says that 100 crore paid up equity capital is required in case of life insurance or general insurance, and paid up capital of 200 crores in case of reinsurer. If you are working as a reinsurer also, then you have to comply with this particular regulation. Suppose there is an entity which is operating as a both insurer as well as reinsurer, then whichever is the higher, that is 200 crore, it has to comply with. At least this much capital should be there with you, because any kinds of risk may arise. Now please tell me, I have a question. Why this net owned fund requirement was not there when we were talking about an Indian insurer? Why is this requirement only in case of foreign insurer? Can someone tell me? Why is this requirement of 100-200 crores is there only for foreign insurer but not for Indian insurer? This is my question. It is already registered with IRDAI, yes, right. But one more thing, have you read it very carefully that IRDAI is going to give you a NOC when it is going to see whether you have complied with all the requirements or not. If you are registered in India, then obviously you are already following the Insurance Act. Now this requirement has been mentioned specifically for others because they are not in India. We do not know that what are the requirements in their own country. We are not aware about it. So we have to tell them that, dear, see, this is the requirement in our country and you have to follow this. Great. So the requirement remains the same for Indian as well as the foreign insurers, but this has been specifically mentioned over here because we have a risk that they might not be following this kind of capital requirement. Now there are some generic points that are just equivalent to one time read. What are these points? The board of applicant, they should undertake to comply with the assigned capital, solvency and other requirements. Yes. Board of applicant undertake to meet all liabilities which are arising out of IIO insurance or reinsurance business. What is IIO? IFSC, International Insurance Business Organization. Fine. So this is the full form. The applicant should have satisfactory track record. Fine. Government of India should have signed the double taxation avoidance agreement with the applicant's country. Just a regulatory requirement because we do not want that they should be taxed in India as well and then their own country as well. We do not want it. That is why we have this double taxation avoidance agreement. Fine. And lastly, the important thing is this. The applicant should have a minimum credit rating having at least good financial security from any of the internationally renowned credit rating agencies for the last 3 years. आपके पास में क्रेडिट रेटिंग होनी चाहिए. आपको याद क्या रखना है कि पिछले 3 साल में, not just for the single year, we are going to see whether you have achieved a decent, good security rating from international credit rating agencies in previous 3 years or not. Next is the branch office. If they want to establish, suppose there is a branch office, right, of these particular foreign insurers, etc. Now they want to have a office in our IFSC. So the same kind of things that they have to comply with. Fine. They have to submit the structure, they have to follow the solvency, etc. norms. They also have to obtain the no objection certificate from the regulatory authority. Now next, just wait for a second. Now we are going to see what can be the organization structure. So organization structure should be public company or subsidiary of insurer or reinsurer which have been formed under Companies Act. They can also be a cooperative societies. They have been formed under the Cooperative Societies Act 1912, right? They can be a body corporate which have been incorporated in any country outside India, should not be a private company. This is the requirement that we have, correct? So you see the organizational structure is also important, not just a body corporate but cooperative societies are also allowed which have been formulated under the Cooperative Societies Act. Apart from that, you could be a body corporate incorporated under foreign countries law, like we have Companies Act 2013. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि दूसरी कंट्रीज में दूसरे एक्ट्स हो, राइट? बट व्हाट वी वांट इज your organization type should not be a private company. That is, we do not want. Now, who's going to give the registration? Registration will be given by the authority, not IRDAI. Please remember this thing. The registration application will be given to the authority and registration will also flow from the authority, that means your IFSCA. Next, the applicant entity as well as its promoters, partners or controlling shareholders, they should be from the FATF compliant jurisdiction. But at the end of the day, everything is under the authority's control. Please remember this. Next is procedure for registration. So form of your application is always already mentioned in the first schedule. I have told you, you do not have to remember this. First schedule, second schedule, not of our requirement. Next is, if application is considered by the authority, then authority can give you a go through, authority can give you a green flag. Yes, registration will be done by the IFSCA. Please remember this. Registration will be done by IFSCA. Now there is a thin line, understand this. You might be already doing, suppose there is a company, ABC Limited. This company is already registered with the IRDAI in India. Fine, this company is already registered. But if you want to have a registration in IFSC, that means if you want to do a business in IFSC, then you have to seek the registration. Now, this ABC Limited wants to open an office in the gift city. So वहाँ की authority से permission लेनी पड़ेगी and the authority over there is IFSCA. Fine. This is why, now please note, when I asked you the question that what are the members on the governing board of IFSCA, that is why members have been taken from the RBI, PFRDA as well as IRDAI. This is why they have been taken, so that there is an representation of all these regulatory bodies in IFSCA, and IFSCA can take all the decisions pertaining to the gift city. Is that clear? Now, the important thing over here is that yes, authority is going to give you the registration, but if it finds that okay, there are any deficiencies in the application, it should give a time limit, a time of 30 days to the applicant for rectification of such particular deficiencies. Now, what are the permissible activities? Once you get the registration to do the business, what kind of things? This PDF is available in the paid course, so you can take it from there. See over here, what kind of permissible activities are there? You can do life insurance business, general insurance business, health insurance business, as well as the reinsurance business, right? In all these three cases, you are directly dealing with the customers. There are customers who want to insure their risks with you. But in case of reinsurance business, who are your customers? In this case, your customers are insurance companies only. These insurance companies, they are giving some part of your some part of their business to you for doing the insurance, right? They are ceding, they are giving you some part of their own business, they are covering their own risk. And also one aspect of reinsurance is also this, that suppose I have huge risk with me, correct? Now I also want that someone should secure my risk as well. I am also a risk. If tomorrow someone comes and I have to pay him the claim, then I am also in losses, correct? So when I get my business insured, this is also an aspect of the reinsurance. And in simply, it does just means that sharing your risk in whatever way you can with the other company, other insurance business. Next is, provided that the IIO registered as IFSC International Office, as registered as branch office of the foreign insurer or reinsurer, they shall be permitted to transact business which is permitted to the applicant by its home country. Apart from these four things, suppose if any other business is allowed to the foreign insurer in their own country, then they can carry out the same business in the IIFC always. Next thing, see, an IIO shall conduct its business in any freely convertible currencies other than the INR. This is the same thing that is there in all the cases. Fine. A insurance entity is going to do the business of insurance, but at the same time these entities, they also have to do their business, right? They also need the capital. So right now, don't you know that few times ago LIC also brought out its IPO? LIC also brought its IPO, right? Why they have brought its IPO? Because they need funding. Not exactly they need funding, but yes, they want to take their business on to the next level. Correct. In the same situation, the other companies, other insurance companies, they are also allowed, they also can issue shares. This is what we are saying, that a insurance company should be a public limited company. Correct. They should be a public limited company. We do not want a private limited company to do such kind of business. So yes, they are allowed to issue such kind of securities to finance themselves. Yes, they do such kind of things. So I do not know why you removed your question. That was a valid question to ask. Now, an IIO which is registered to transact the direct insurance business, they may be permitted to do so within the IFSC from other sales as well as from outside of India. Again, a generic topic, not needs to be done. Now in case of reinsurance business, this is important, and now you are going to see the actual crux of reinsurance. So see very carefully. It may accept reinsurance business from cedents based in IFSC in relation to the risk emanating from other sales or reinsurance business from outside India. Cedent means it is a party in insurance who passes the financial obligation to the other person. So there is a person, I am the insurer. I have taken certain risk, but I am finding it too much risky. I want someone to share it. So I have given this risk to another person, to a reinsurer. I have said that, see, I have taken this particular risk. It is too much, right? I want you to insure this. So a company which gives the insurance to insurance company, right? A company which secures the risk of an insurance company, it is called as a reinsurer. And as a reinsurer, you can take business from anywhere, from any other cess, from any other locality, from any other country, anywhere, right? Geography does not matter. You can take the risk from anyone. Now next is, it may accept reinsurance business from the insurance which are operating in the domestic tariff area in accordance with the order of reference specified by the IRDA. Now it should be as follows. So with this particular preference, I am going to discuss this whole topic tomorrow, because this is going to take a huge amount of our time and we do not have that today, right? So as of now, just understand, there is a priority list, there is a preference list which has been provided to the person who is doing the reinsurance business. Right now I am not going to explain this because we will be discussing this tomorrow, but Indian reinsurers have been provided top priority, foreign reinsurers, then you are having your international offices in the IFSC, cross-border reinsurers, and then other offices come over here. Fine. Why do they come like that? What is the thing behind this? All of the things we are going to discuss tomorrow. With that, this is a wrap in this particular class. I hope that you must have understood the topics that I have discussed. And if you did, then please do not forget to like this video. Thank you so much.